Good morning, everyone. So, let's do a garden tour, shall we? Things are changing. It's coming that time of the year where the garden changes almost daily, really, sometimes. We are going to need to do weekly tours. Oh, get to eat. It's your good girl. Probably my last hot cup of tea for a while. As it's starting to warm up, we're supposed to be 70s, then 80s, and then 90s this week. Oh gosh, I'm not looking forward to that yet. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. So here we have this, don't mind the storage underneath the trailer, it happens. We have this box that I made from scrap wood that we picked up when we picked up some, I think, pallets. So I built it out of what we have. It's kind of the theme around here as much as possible. And I've got Thai basil growing in there because I flippin' love Thai basil in soups and such. Oh, so good. I got some lemon thyme and I've got some Italian oregano. I've already made some green tea infused with lemon thyme and some other lemon herbs that we have. Over here, I have moved the position of the green stalks now that I have two, so that looks amazing. So we gotta get this one filled out a little bit more. I, of course, underestimated the amount of flowers I would need with these strawberries. Look at these strawberries. They have, oh my goodness, they have just exploded. I just came out here just this morning and picked a couple strawberries to put in my breakfast. It was delicious. Here we can see from the opposite side as we're walking into the space. Got this white, got these pinkish, orangish flowers and some light purple. Here is the herb bed that we put together out of pallet wood, actually. The man bid that for me. It was awesome. And it has a bunch of medicinal herbs. We have some hyssop, some lovage, marshmallow, borage, lots of yarrow, feverfew. I planted the dill in the back there too. And then on this side, we have toothache plant, more borage, calendula, motherwort, fennel, holy basil or tulsi, lemon balm. Now I just went through yesterday, the day before, and put in a bunch of worm castings to try to give it a bit of a boost. I think a lot of them have greened up nicely. They're not as yellow as they were. So I'm going to give it a little bit of time, see if that was enough, and then I might need to fertilize again. And then all along this area, it was just a mulched area. It didn't have a whole lot except for like this cactus here. But we decided to put a bunch of our overflow tomatoes in here. And all along the perimeter of this front area, we have planted random dried beans. So we have black beans, we have scarlet type bean, we have, I think, a little white navy bean, just a big mix of beans that I like. If we get nothing, it's at least pretty foliage that kind of blocks off the view a little bit. And if we actually get something out of it, that'll be awesome. And along here, we have more tomatoes. But we really need to get them staked up soon, like last weekend. These flowers here are pretty interesting. They're just, I forget what they are exactly, but I thought they were dead, but I left them because I didn't have anything else to plant in there over the winter. And then they came back. So hey, give things a chance, I guess. The mint definitely came back. It is super happy. We got rosemary came back. It's super happy as well. The thyme I planted from seed is doing pretty well. Orange tree has set some oranges. I think we're gonna have to thin them out though because it's such a baby. I have a lot of volunteer cosmos from seed last year. Is covered. Let's see if I can find you one. With bees. You can see bee on there and a bee right there. Oh, and another bee over here. Hi, Mama. They love this flower, which is fair because I love this flower too. So this was just a flower that actually came up, I think from seed that was planted last year that never germinated. But seeing as how much the bees love it, I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it for them to enjoy. We're just gonna let them enjoy it for as long as possible and then harvest some of the seeds that are almost ready off of it. That way we make sure we have more. Every time I scare off the poor little lizards. Hi, buddy. Are you enjoying your new habitat? Hmm? Oh, there's two of them there. Sorry guys, I gotta come in. And there she is. Looks like she just got watered, except for over here. I'm gonna have to come in and hand water this part. And that's pretty cool. Pink, yellow, sorry. I know my colors are probably pink, white, and more pink. I'm not a huge pink person. You wouldn't think that, but I think they're lovely. All right, so this is our first year in this garden space. We rented the main area for our camper while we are in transition. We are a blended family and you know, kind of getting on our feet, if you will. And so they were gracious enough to allow us to use this area when they found out that I love to garden. And so I'm super blessed for that. I've had gardens for as long as I can remember, but generally it's just like small, a couple raised beds here and there, porch gardening. Right, I lived in an apartment for a while, so it was like extremely suboptimal because it faces the north, you know, just things like that. So I'm feeling super blessed and thankful to have this space to practice my gardening skills. It's been a while since I've been able to stretch the legs all the way. And I'm just really experimenting because I know this is not the location that I'm going to be in for ever or even a super long time. So it may seem like we're doing a lot of work that's kind of silly, but we'll talk about all of that in just a moment. But first, let's look at all the cool stuff because I'm about to have to come through and harvest this all. We are going from, like I said, from 70s up into the 90s and then back down to the 70s. So it's like a week of super hot weather for everything, but that's gonna make the cabbages probably want to bolt and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna put up some shade cloth and see if we can limp the kale and such along for a little bit longer. We'll see. All right, let's get on with it. Stop jabbering. Don't let me forget that. So we got some bees in here too. Nice, you guys finally discovered it, huh? All right, we have, of course, some beautiful amaranth growing up nice and tall here. And in between, they're a little shaded out, I've planted some sunflowers. We have long day onion here. Over here, you guys can see, oh my gosh, look. Hold on. Get you guys a close up. Look. I am ridiculous. I've never grown onions before. So, probably not doing it right. But hey, it's gonna grow an onion. It's somewhat right. But it's starting to bulb up. Can you see that? There you go. Now you can get a good view of it. We have scallions over here. We have more scallions. And these sunflowers are a little bit bigger, starting to head up. So we'll get to see those beauties in soon. And then bok choy is gone. We can take that out. This was a random onion that was in the compost pile. Decided to grow, so I figured, hey, I'll put it in here. And we have chives, more long day onions that were planted after the other ones, and then we have leeks down here. Then we have chard that is going to flower. I'm just leaving it for now. It's not harming anything. I mean, there's actually a little tomato in there that's being blocked out, but it'll be fine. We have plenty of tomatoes. And coming around to the other bed, we have, oh, we have a little turnip baby here. Oh, it's so cute. We have some red chard. And I think this one is kohlrabi. Yeah. You can see the tomatoes are peeking out. Looks like they could use another trellis soon. And I planted kind of a couple of each varieties here. So I think I put cherries at the ends. And then we have like beef steak. We have Romas, we have large red slicers. So just kind of a lot of variety in here for the tomatoes. And of course, they're going to continue to grow, and all of these other big bushy plants like the kales and the kohlrabis and stuff, that's all going to come out soon. So they'll have plenty of room in just a few, well, just a week, a couple days actually. We can see, so that one, that's kohlrabi, and that has headed up, but the other ones haven't, so I'm not sure what's going on. We have this, I believe the nickname is dinosaur kale. It's pretty cool leaves. They're more flat than the regular curly leaf type kale, and I think I like it better. And we have more, supposedly, kohlrabi all the way in here. That's what all of that stuff is. With kale planted in the front. Here we have some short and sweet amaranth. And then we come around the corner and there's the cabbage. So pretty good head. It is starting to elongate though, so I need to pull it this week. Hold on, I can't help myself. Gotta weed. Okay. Here is another one that's nice and big and firm too. I don't think they're gonna get much bigger than that. It's a little baby one. Some dwarf kale. Some more cabbage. Try to keep it from getting sunburnt. And then at the end of both of these rows, I have more onions. They're not getting a lot of sun right now, so they're not super happy over there. We have more here. And in here is pepper bed. So these are the spicy peppers. So we have things like Greg's Grande Jalapeno, which is what a lot of these are. Then we have Fresno peppers, and then a couple of smaller varieties, like there's a Sugar Rush, but he's not doing well, so I'm not expecting anything from that really. Here is the more mature carrots. So when I want carrots, I come in here and grab these ones first. And this technically is celery, so I don't know. I feel like I'm not gonna get anything from that, more than just the leaves. And let's see, what do we have? Well, we've got some lemon basil, starting right there. Little baby basils. We have cucumber and calendula. It's just starting to pop open. Welcome, little guy. Hello. And we have parsley, perhaps, maybe? Oh, and we have some more fennel right here. And this guy is an annoying experiment. Kind of taking up a lot of room in here. But that is a potato. Oh, that's a carrot. That's gonna be a big carrot. I'm gonna let the kiddo harvest that. He loves picking the carrots. Have some turnips that need to be pulled in and harvested soon. Next bed that we have here is, this one is a pumpkin. Just like your regular classic, I think it's called Connecticut pumpkin, something like that. And then this is a buttercup squash. He's doing okay. I may need to, oh boy, this guy. I was worried I wasn't gonna get zucchini from what I planted from seed. So I went to the store and grabbed one. You can see the one that I planted back here. It's probably not gonna do anything because it's shaded out by this behemoth. Holy crap. You are ready to go, aren't you? We definitely have one female plant, that one right there. It's gonna grow our first zucchini. And over here we have something I'm really excited about, so I hope these do well. Probably gonna be babying in a little bit. These are candy roaster squash. That should be super delicious. And continuing around again to the last bed. Now in the spring, this area, this bed is pretty shaded. So I was a little hopeful that it would give some more shade over here for everything, but I feel like I goofed up and this is not going to be full sun. So, oopsie. We have the next succession of carrots here. And I planted some more cucumbers along the back fence and sprinkled in extra peppers. So these are the sweeter variety of peppers. So this is a habanada, so it tastes like a habanero pepper, but it is not spicy. And then we have a sad little sweet banana pepper back here that is limping along. So hopefully they'll start doing better. So hopefully as it heats up, they'll be better. And we also have some jalapenos, which are, again, like flavored like jalapenos, but not as spicy. And more carrots. And then I think that's a broccoli that's gonna fade soon. And a sad little lump of cilantro. You can see this guy here. These are shishito peppers. I don't know if they're getting trampled. There's a couple here. Hopefully we'll have some of those. Oh my goodness. Okay, see, this is why I have to come out to my garden every day. As these canes were not here. These front ones. It's getting a little wild in here. But I'm happy to say that the canes look really nice and healthy versus the plant that we got. So that's nice. I don't know that that berry is going to actually be anything. That's cool. That was kind of an impulse buy too, but even if we move, or when we move, we can propagate it and take it with us. Some beets that are barely bulbing up. Oh look, we will get another little broccoli. The tiniest little baby broccoli you've ever did see. That's the original head, not a side shoot or anything. But it's stressed and it's not very happy. So I'm gonna be happy with what we get. And here is a cluster of random flowers that I got from my job. And so I just threw them in here. They do like an employee appreciation and gave us a pack of flower seeds. No idea what is all in there. This is a weed. It's like a thistle of some sort, maybe? I don't know. And then finish it up with a bunch of kale. And then we have this guy over here, which is a blackberry. And he's doing pretty happy too. He's looking lush and beautiful. It is time to come through and fertilize everybody though. And then we have these row of whatever these bushes are. I keep trying to look and see what they are. They grow almost like a calla lily, but I don't know. They're not red banana trees because those come from like a center stalk and branch off that way. These come from little bulbs. So they're doing wonderful. And then behind them, I don't know why, I thought they would grow there well, but I sowed some oats. There's a joke there. And they're not wild though. They're tame oats. And over here, you can see just barely in there. It's probably not going to do much because it's so shaded. Is alfalfa. I might have to wait until the fall winter crop to do again. Oh good. There's no bugs in it. All right, let's chat. Well, that is the, I guess you still call it spring garden tour for this week. A lot different than this week because I'm going to pull out all of these cabbages. We'll have a shade cloth up for the veggies to hopefully keep them from getting too wilted or sunburned or going to bolt, going to seed. But yeah, just enjoying the garden as it is. I'm probably going to sow a succession of lettuce in the green stalk, see if that will come up still, even though it's going to be super hot. We're going back down to 70s, so maybe in the green stalk facing north it'll be shaded and be better in there. Oh, on that note, maybe I'll do some cilantro in there too, see if that will work. Trying different ways to get the cilantro to wait for the tomatoes. I already processed some. I put it in a blender with some olive oil and blended that up and then froze it. So I have, you know, olive oil infused or cilantro infused olive oil. See how that plays into making salsa once the tomatoes come on. I was feeling, I guess, sad, I don't know, in a lull, right? Because you bring all this garden produce in from, you know, the spring, the early spring, late winter garden, and then it's just like baskets full of produce all the time, all the greens. And then you have this period where it's too hot for the greens, and then it's not yet time for the tomatoes or the cucumbers. We just kind of have to be patient and enjoy, I guess, this time in between. But boy, I cannot wait for there to be some fresh tomatoes and cucumbers coming out of this garden. Hopefully, fingers crossed. All goes well. We've planted, I don't know, 25 or so tomatoes in various spots. So we have some in here in the garden that's a little more protected. We have some out there, both in the ground and in the fabric pots. So hopefully some of them will do well enough to produce a good amount of fruit for us. But yeah, we are in, I believe it is zone 9B. Pretty hot. We actually have a unique growing season where the early part of the year to grow food, and then we have to like kind of stop in the summer, in the heat of the summer, and then we have the late summer, fall into winter sometimes garden that we can usually limp along until December, January maybe. It is nice to be able to have, you know, that multiple season garden. However, we have to take a break during the summer because it's just too hot. Everything wilts, shrivels up. The tomatoes stop producing, you know, blossoms at that point. They all fall off because they're too hot and overwhelmed until it cools back down to 80s. And they may or may not be susceptible to disease at that point because they're stressed out, right? So we might not have the tomatoes after that session cools down. And so what I'll end up doing is starting another succession of tomatoes more towards summertime, and then getting those going. That way, once they're ready, it will be cooler temperatures and we'll maybe get another flush of tomatoes. Some key information that we had about this garden is that if you were here or you saw the videos in the beginning, it was very much, well, garbage. The dirt is, I guess, I don't know if you would call it fill dirt, but fill dirt that has a lot of garbage in it. I don't know if that's normal or not, but this was just pretty barren landscape. We looked at Google Earth images to see what this used to look like, and it was just like dead bare fields basically. So not the best soil health quality for sure, and well, it was a little disheartening as we are digging in the garden and we're finding a bunch of, you know, garbage pieces like old pipes and broken dishes and lots of glass, and like it was pretty disheartening. But you know, plants want to grow and we're doing the best with what we've got, and I think it looks pretty good considering. I come through, I give it a little bit of outside of purchased fertilizer, but I'm also, that's what this bucket is the next round of we'll call it fermented juice. Fermented weed juice. It stinks, but you can get some nutrients out of the weeds because they're here for a reason, and use that as sort of a fertilizer for your plants. It might not be as great as like a fish emulsion or something like that, so it's more of a in-between supplement, so I don't have to buy so much. Because one of the main parameters that I've tried to do with this garden, although I did get a little carried away, I'll be honest, was to have everything as either free or cheap as possible. So obviously I've purchased the seeds. That's not the biggest, you know, deal to me because I would purchase the seeds no matter what. The idea is that this place is not ours, right? So we don't know if we're going to be here long term or how long term. We do want to move eventually and definitely want to have our own place whenever possible. So I don't want to put a bunch of infrastructure that is permanent in here that I would then have to leave behind. So I don't mind putting a bunch of weeds in a bucket and fermenting it for fertilizer in the in-ground beds, right? That's fine. I'll do that, no problem. So when I do buy things, it's stuff that we can break down and take with us when we move. So like these fabric pots that we have over here. These can, if they last that long, they can be reused next time, right? This bed over here, this is a taller metal bed that we bought secondhand, and if it stands up to time to the next year or whatever, then we'll be able to take that with us. So any of the infrastructure of the posts, the T-posts, the beds, the bags, we're building an outdoor kitchen that can be, taken down, all the screws taken out, and the wood can all go with us to be rebuilt later, right? So if it's stuff like this mulch, I'm okay with putting this mulch in here and spending the time doing that because it was free, right? I was able to get this mulch dropped off, and I mulched the pathway. So that's fine because that was all free. But yeah, the mulch was free, so that just takes some sweat equity to lay down. The herb bed that I showed you in the beginning, that was all made with pallets that were free. So all we had to do is buy the pallet buster, and that works great to break them apart. And then you can just reuse that wood, which we have done a couple different times. So that's really nice. And I don't mind if it's free pallet wood if we leave it behind, right? So if it gets left behind, it's not a big deal. Kind of the idea, it's how to build up a garden that is productive, and it's going to give a bunch of food without spending a crap ton of money, and without building or having to build permanent structures, right? That's the challenge, and on top of all of the pest pressure that we have here, because again, this spot was so poorly taken care of. There wasn't life in the soil other than the bad stuff, which we don't want. It's ants, so many ants, so much of a battle with ants. It's insane. So they're gonna probably overwhelm and attack most of my tomatoes and pests. So we have a lot of ants. They are probably gonna, like I said, overwhelm the tomato plants pretty soon because they like to farm aphids on them. So that's always a fun battle to deal with. And then we also have voles, which are gonna go under the ground and destroy roots of plants. So that's why, again, I have multiple different ways of gardening. I have raised beds, I have bags, I have in-ground in different areas. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we still get crops even though we have all this pest damage and problems. And we have annoying white flies and little midges that make it really annoying to be outside in the summer for any length of time. So we have a bunch of stray cats in the area that like to get in and destroy things, as well as our own dogs that like to break into the garden and poop in here. It's their favorite thing to do, apparently. Ants, voles, grubs. We have grubs to deal with. Lots and lots and lots of grubs. Just plant enough to hopefully make a difference and get some wonderful tomatoes. We joked that the only thing we'd be able to grow is chard, because nothing likes chard. I don't hate chard, it's not my favorite. I prefer cooked kale over cooked chard. If that's what you can grow, Alright, well, I'm gonna get out of this sun. I'm sweating. Finish my tea. go inside and start editing. So I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for spending time with me in my garden. It's a place I love to be, and I love to be here with you. So I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye. That's fine because that was all free. Hi, birdie. Come on in and get the bad guys. Yeah. What else was I saying? Overwhelm and attack most of my tomatoes. Oh, hi. Come here, buddy. The calendula's not open yet. Big old carpenter bumblebee. What was I saying? Squirrel or bee.